Hey guys, I just wanted to give you a 4-month update on the fly predators. I told you I was going to do a 3-month update, but it ended up being a 4-month update. Here we are in the first week of July. It's July the 5th, and I'm out here with the kids. I'll show them to you. They're all slicked out and they're looking really good. Well, let me show you what's going on. So here's Joy. She's got her ears pinned because Chief's coming up to her rear end. I want to show you the lack of flies. If you look, got nothing evident on her legs. Got a couple right here on her belly. Nothing down here on her legs, nothing up here. And if you look at her head, at her eyes, her nose, we got nothing. She's super clean. Every now and then, those little flies get on her. And then if you look over here at Chief, he's pretty slicked out as well, and he's pretty clean. If you look at his head, his eyes, his ears, his nose, you don't have a lot of flies flying around. You see him stomping his legs. He's got cluster flies flying around. He's got cluster flies on his belly. I'm calling them cluster flies. I don't know that that's what they are, but I'm calling them cluster flies. And then if you look at his back legs, pretty clean. Look at his butt. But if you just look at his overall back, his neck, his head, he's clean. Let's go back here and look at Joy. So the results that I've had with fly predators has been really good. But one thing I want you to know is that fly predators is not the cure-all, end-all to your fly problems. They are not targeted at all fly species. And I may not be saying that right, but fly types. They're only targeting the flies that are laying their eggs in the manures. You got bot flies that are a smaller fly that lay their eggs on the lower section of the leg down around the pastern area. And when the horses go down to bite their legs and to scratch down there, they ingest those eggs, and those eggs go through the incubation process during the horse's digestive process. So when they poop it out the other end, a mature bot fly comes out. So you got to have a bot fly comb that you can pick up at any supply store, and it's got serrated edge on it. And what you do is you just comb the horse's leg with this, and it'll comb the eggs out. It's kind of like combing lice out of a human's hair, I guess. So it's not going to attack bot flies. Another thing is I don't know the name of it, but it's that really big black, I call it just a straight up horsefly. But that really big black one, that's almost as big as a bumblebee. Down in Georgia, they're almost as big as hummingbirds. But they like to bite my mule right on the forehead, and they actually draw blood. And then there's a smaller one that's yellow, that looks just like the black one, but he's yellow and he's a little bit smaller. Those breed in water. So, obviously, they're not going to attack those. So you've got to stay on top of your water issues. You're going to have to get something like a dunk that you can buy at, any Tractor Supply or any, big box store, and put these dunks in your water supply. They're harmless to the animals. You may have a gutter on your house or a gutter on your barn that's not draining correctly, that's holding water. You may have, old tires on your property that are holding water. 5-gallon buckets, water troughs that are no longer in service, paint cans, even a water bottle lid that's unscrewed and just flip upside down. That's all the water mosquitoes need. I don't know how much water flies need, but that's all a mosquito needs to put his eggs down. So you got to stay on top of your water issues. And then there's another fly that lays their eggs in water, and I can't remember what it is, and I apologize for that. I'm not a fly specialist by any stretch or imagination, and I don't claim to be. I just know that there's 3 that breed in water, and then the bot flies lay their eggs down on the pastern areas of the horse's legs. So that's 4 that I know of. And those cluster flies, I don't know that that's what they're called, but they like to, there'll be 10 or 12 of them on them down on the lower part of the belly. And it doesn't seem to affect those either. But you saw, we're in July, it's 90 degrees today and 75% humidity. It's July 5th, like I said earlier. And you saw what my animals look like. If you had seen them in November of last year, you'd come out and there would be flies all in their eyes, their nose, their ears, all around their legs in November. 50, 60 flies. It was miserable for them. So you are still gonna have to continue to use other things like a fly ointment that you rub on them, and even a fly spray. These are not Fly Predator specific brands, but Fly Predator does carry a full line of that stuff. The way that you've got to think about Fly Predators is just like a toolbox. So you can't go out and buy a screwdriver and say, okay, I can work on my car, I can fix everything on my car, I got a flat tip screwdriver. No, you need a Phillips screwdriver, you need number 2, number 3, number 1s, you need a whole set of sockets, possibly a set of metric as well. Wrenches, open end, closed end, different size hammers, different types of pliers. So what Fly Predators is you got to think of it as it's a tool for your toolbox, but it is a tool that you want in your toolbox because you can see how well the animals look. My problem is, and it's a learning curve that I've got to adjust, is when I open this up and I crack it, I sprinkle it out amongst the pasture. My distribution process is heavy in one area and then I'm light in another area. And they can fly 75 feet-ish, so they can get to areas that you may have gotten a little bit lighter. So just walk around your pasture before you start distributing so that you know exactly where you're distributing or where you need to distribute. We've all got neighbors. You can't control your neighbors. Your neighbor may have a tarp covering up firewood, or he may have a ladder turned upside down, a step ladder turned upside down, water's collecting in the bottom of that step, or he may have a wagon that he uses for firewood or for leaf litter, and that wagon's holding water. You don't know. You can't control your neighbors. So you got to control your property, and a lot of us have got trashy neighbors, and I can tell you that when I bought this property, this was the trashy neighbor. The neighbors that surround me are all very clean. They are they keep their properties manicured. They keep them policed up. So I don't have the trashy neighbor. This was the trashy neighbor, and I'm doing everything I can to clean it up and stay on top of my water issues. So your horses are gonna be on the property line, and those flies that they may pick up could be from your neighbors because like I said, they may have trash, or there could be a dead animal on their property that you don't know about. You could have a dead animal on your property that's in the woods, and those, they can live up to 3 weeks. So once they get on your animals, they can stay on them for up to 3 weeks until they die. But if they lay their eggs in the manure, then the fly larvae's gonna get them. The fly predators are gonna get them, but if they lay it in water, hopefully you've addressed your water issues with dunks. I'll show you my water over here in just a few minutes. One thing I wanna say about fly predators is when you call them, you're gonna talk to a person. You're not gonna get a recording. They're not gonna call you back. It's not gonna be, we're on the other line. They're gonna answer the phone. I've been dealing with them for about a year now, almost a year, not quite, but almost. and I think October will be a year. So I'm probably, I don't know, 9-10 months, somewhere in there. But anyway, regardless, when I call, I talk to the same lady. The lady knows my name. She doesn't know me personally, but she knows me. She said, "Oh, I'm the one you've been talking to." And that's very comforting, to be able to call a company when you have an issue or a question, and be able to talk to a real person. My very first batch, they didn't hatch, or I say they didn't hatch. It was cold. I was having a temperature fluctuation of 40 degrees at night and 60 during the day, and I called, and there's a number on the bag here that tells you where to call if they don't hatch. And so I called that number, and an older gentleman answered, and you could tell he was a senior guy there, and he had been there. He could have even been the owner, I don't know. But he said, "We'll guarantee it, we'll stand behind it, and if they hadn't hatched in 14 days, no problem, we'll send it out." They sent them out priority mail. They come in 3 days, but the mail being the way it is, it's taken up to 5 days for me. But he said, if they haven't hatched by the 14th day, just let us know, and we'll send you out a new batch. And 13th day, they hatch. He told me, he said, "Do not keep them in your barn where there's temperature fluctuation. Put them inside your house, set them on top of your refrigerator, keep them out of direct sunlight, keep them somewhere where the temperature is consistent." And I did that, and on day 13, they started hatching. Day 14, I released them. So, but I was able to call and get that address. That's the only issue I've ever had with them. They called me 90 days into the program and said, "Hey, how's it going? We just want to check on you and see how it's going." And people don't do that. They don't care. They sell you a product, and as long as they got your money, they could care less. These people care. So I stand behind fly predators, and I really think that they do a really good job. And again, 5th of July, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and you see what the animals look like. So I'm gonna show you the water over here. Boy, I need to drain this water and clean it out, don't I? But there's a dunk right there, just floats in the water. But you see there's no larvae in there anywhere. So that's what I was referring to, is take care of your water. And I'll be draining that ASAP and cleaning it out. The algae grows in there, as you know, and it's just taken off in the last week or so. All right, so there's your 4-month update on fly predators. Kids standing back there, just hanging out, relaxing. And I'm gonna call it a day. I've been working on the fencing back here in the back, getting ready for the girls to come in August. So anyway, just remember that this is just a tool in your toolbox. It is not the cure-all, end-all for your fly issues, but it's a great tool. So thanks, and we'll see you on the next one.